What's good, everybody? This is Mr. Composition, the MC that writes fiction, and TGIF. TGIF. It is Friday, October 2nd, 10/2, 2020. Man, this is. It's very interesting, Trump and his wife tested positive for COVID, which I find super ironic. Like, it is super ironic. But, with all um, respect to another human's life, whether they feel the same way or not, hope for a speedy recovery. But it's just very, very, very interesting. And so that kind of brings me to today's episode. So I was reading chapter 18 in this book, Atomic Habits. By the time I'm done with this, y'all probably got to get a gist of the book just off of these podcasts, pretty much. But the title of this is called The Truth About Talent, When Genes Matter and When They Don't. And there's a particular part that says that um, our environment determines the suitability of our genes and the utility of our natural talents. When our environment changes, so do the qualities that determine success. And he goes on to say this is not just true for physical characteristics, but for mental ones as well. Um, it was saying that competence is highly dependent on context. And so, it goes on to ask this question, how do I figure out where the odds are in my favor? How do I identify the opportunities and habits that are right for me? And then, he goes on to say that the first place we'll look for the answers by understanding your personality. Now, one of the reasons that I'm so into astrology, numerology, cardology, enneagrams and disc assessments and all these different things that let you know your personality, because I felt like it was important, because just with this to understand, as far as like, I know that by understanding my personality in all of these different ways, I can get a nice picture of where I should be putting my energy into. Because at the chapter summary, it goes on to say that, genes do not eliminate the need for hard work. They clarify it. They tell us what to work hard on. And it says, play a game that favors your strengths. If you can't find a game that favors you, create one. And so when I think about all of that in regards to entrepreneurship, business, different things like that, it makes me completely think of why it's important to, you know, not necessarily to be different, but sometimes I am resistant to the things that make me super unique, as a rapper, as a person, it sometimes it's so new, not having multiple interests and being successful at it. No, no, no. What is new as far as in the combination, when you don't see, like, you can see similar people doing similar stuff, but sometimes we try to wait for the exact person, or we try to wait for things that really have no bearing. Some people think that, they was bringing up the situation within, genes and talent and different things like that. And they brought up Michael Phelps and this other guy. And how Michael Phelps, his particular, how him, Michael Phelps being 6'4", and this other guy who's a long distance runner is 5'9", 5'10" ish, but he was saying how they have the same like waist size or length when it comes to pants or something like that. And it's just all like, well, how could that be? And it's just all like, well, with the way that Michael Phelps jeans are set up, it makes him perfect for a runner, which is he has shorter legs but a longer upper body, which the guy who was a long distance runner, it was the reverse. He had longer legs but a smaller upper body. So it literally matched as far as that, but it also let them be able to thrive in opportunities where their genes worked in their favor. They couldn't switch. That's the thing. They would be at a disadvantage if Michael Phelps was going in a long distance running or this other guy was going into swimming because of the way that their genetics are set up, literally. So that just made me think, how often are you like running into walls, going in circles because you're trying to you're trying to long distance run as a swimmer. You literally are trying to force something that's gonna that it doesn't take away the hard work. Again, these people, they didn't just like, the only reason they can even be in that point to even thrive was because of the fact that they put in the hard work. But it made it easier because of how their genetics are set up. you know for like I said, how often are we doing that? How often are you trying to be the computer coder, but you're the chef. Like, that is where your skill set is at, you know. And you start to wonder, like, why you're having like back pains or different things like that. And that's some of the things that I have to take into consideration with myself, especially sometimes when you're doing the opposite of what you should be doing physically. It'll have a physical effect on you. Like, if you're not supposed to be sitting down for long periods of time, the way that your genes are set up for you to be in movement, that doesn't mean to be always exercising or whatever. It just means that you have a lot more when it comes to moving around or different things like that. That's where you thrive, or maybe just standing up in general. And there's a lot of things to do standing up. I've even thought about, when I have my own place, to just sit there and have like a stand-up desk. That way I can just sit there, and it'll be like an exercise for myself, like to sit there 45 minutes, doing work standing up. But yeah, ask yourself those type of questions, and to dive into those, that's why I get into astrology. When it talks about, when it comes to this Atomic Habit books, and how so much it like goes forward with there's a lot of parallels with several things in my life currently, and that being one of them. I really, with my brand, the composition, with everything that I'm doing, it there's it's evolution. Like, I have to always take into consideration that you're kind of just starting off, like, and sometimes it's frustrating, but you have to use that frustration that you feel, because again, there's other things that you would be good at. But sometimes when we're diving into, and it's not necessarily good at, it's understanding what you're building. Like, this isn't this is my legit business, and so I have to create every single thing. When you think about, sometimes we get hesitant, we like to wait for permission or someone to say like, hey, you need to do this. Like, when you're working for yourself, you don't have that. You literally have to be that person, and I think a nice way to find out your personality, is to understand how you are in different circumstances. Even if you don't want to go the entrepreneur route, or maybe because of the pandemic, you're kind of like forced in this particular situation. See how you act, when you're not forced to do something. And it's not even like a actual force. It's like we'll be in these jobs or different things like that, and we would put these different things in our head. If you are late, you're gonna get fired. If you do this, this and this, your buddy's gonna be like, that's all we. Those are the type of things that we put on ourselves. And it's funny because that's in the previous chapter. It was talking about how we assign pain to certain things so that way we don't continue to do it. And so see how your personality, see how things differ or has changed working for yourself. For some people, they find like, okay, like, yeah, I am definitely like a self-starter. Or maybe sometimes you have to be a self-starter in a particular favorable circle. Like, people, here's the thing, somebody might hear this and read this book and be like, yeah, yeah, I feel you, but is it that simple, whatever, and without applying it. And the thing is, it's not about it being simple. All this stuff is, simpler solutions, but it's not doing the thing for you. That's I think what a lot of people have to understand. None of these books are going to be like the actual thing. you know, it is more so until you've stumbled across something that makes you want to act. That's a lot of what it is. And I know for me, aspects that make me want to act is learning about something or coming across something that is so like it clicks. How that clicks in different ways varies, but this isn't going to take away you actually applying it. A lot of, I know people are in very unfavorable circumstances, and sometimes I had to check myself because it's just like, it's not to minimize what I feel unfavorable or anything like that, or my particular feelings, but sometimes when you really hear about like how some people are like, they literally don't have no type of assistance, it really humbles you to realize like how grateful I am in a lot of different things that were put into place, and a lot of things that were passed that allowed for assistance or to allow for certain living situations to be favorable for me, and what I have to do is, or what I feel is the best way to help, is to get this information, break it down in any way that I can break it down, and then just apply it and give it to y'all and see what y'all can do with it. Because the same way like these genes, in the same way as far as like you don't really like choose your genes and different things like that. Sometimes like we don't get to choose certain situations, you know, but we can if we know that it is possible, or we know that that's even an option to attempt. You know, you can change your circumstance. You know, sometimes we think situations are hopeless because we just didn't know that there were other options. Like, why did you say that there was this option and this option? I'm sitting up here thinking that I'm freaking screwed, you know? And again, everyone's on their separate journey, and it's wild because as much as it's separate, it's also interconnected and all of this stuff. But same token, it is beautiful. So sorry if that seemed a little bit low, but it is a beautiful day. It is a beautiful time. Very grateful and thankful for y'all tuning in. And yeah, hope y'all enjoy y'all's Friday. Hope y'all had an amazing full moon in Aries last night. We're gonna be feeling those effects for some couple of days, maybe a week or so out. But then we got some interesting stuff going on. So if y'all dig this, go ahead and if you're on YouTube, leave a like, comment, hit that subscribe button. If you're listening to this just on any other device or audio platform, add me to your playlist. If it's not any of those, if it's some random thing that's not a podcast platform or IGTV where you can follow me or any of those things, then hit me up with an email. goldendabtroll@gmail.com. Make sure to hit up the t-shirts. New single, Lift Us, is out. I know I haven't been pushing that a lot, but now that's, pushing it even more. And then be on the lookout. There's going to be a new song, I believe, in October. And if you're in the San Antonio area next Saturday, October 10th, Treasures, gonna have a show there. Not my show, but I'll be a performer at the show. Shout out to Kamitria. So yeah, again, this is Mr. Composition, the MC that writes fiction. Peace.